Hi everybody, if you don't know me already, my name is Kaylee. I am a gut health nutrition coach. I help people to overcome their chronic gut and digestive issues using the principles of ancestral nutrition, root cause medicine, and some other natural holistic methods as well. So yeah, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about gut dysbiosis, what is gut dysbiosis, how to know if you have gut dysbiosis, and what to do about it to fix your microbiome if you are dealing with gut dysbiosis. So before I get too far into this video, I do want to let you guys know that I have a couple of spaces open right now in my program, Ancestral Gut Healing. So this is a program that is designed to get to the root cause of your chronic gut and digestive issues and then to heal them from the root so that you never have to deal with these symptoms again, and so that you can have a healthy, strong gut, healthy digestive system, and really just the optimal overall health possible to prevent disease in the future and all that good stuff. So if you want to learn more about that, just stick around to the end and I'll talk more about it then. But back to the topic of today's video. So first of all, I'm going to go over what is gut dysbiosis, how to tell if you have it or not, and then how to heal it. So pretty straightforward. So gut dysbiosis is referring to your gut microbiome. And what this means is that the microbes inside of there have gotten out of balance so that you have an excess of the pathogenic microbes and you have a deficiency of the beneficial microbes. So you always have both. These are kind of broad categories, but essentially sometimes what can happen is there can be things that can kind of wipe out a chunk of our gut microbiome, and I will talk about what those are in a minute. But when this happens, it leaves a gap in the population, and if we aren't careful about our diet and our lifestyle, then the pathogenic ones can overgrow. Another thing that can happen is with our diet, if we are eating foods that the pathogenic microbes like sugar, then they're more likely to overgrow because they eat sugar and the good ones don't as much. So basically, gut dysbiosis is when there's too many pathogenic microbes, not enough good ones. So what happens is these pathogenic microbes produce a lot of gas. So if you have gas, if you have smelly farts, if you have smelly burps, if you just have bloating from that gas, bloating is usually from excess gas, and you have that abdominal pain, that is a clear sign that you have gut dysbiosis. If you have constipation, diarrhea, or alternating constipation and diarrhea, you very likely have gut dysbiosis, because this gas that the microbes are producing can actually affect how water is drawn to or away from the colon, and it can affect your colon motility. So an imbalanced gut microbiome can actually lead to more water and quicker motility and getting diarrhea, or less water being drawn to your colon and slower motility and you get constipation. So some people can switch back and forth if they just got a weird combo of microbes in there. So that absolutely can happen as well. And where was I going with this? Okay, so then also another thing that can happen is you can get candida overgrowth. That's going to be one of those pathogenic microbes overgrowing. So you can get candida overgrowth, and these can affect other areas of your body as well. So with that, you can get yeast infections, you can get thrush, which is candida yeast infection in your mouth. So you can get things like that. You can get fungal infections. You can get that from gut dysbiosis, which is not so fun. And also, if you are struggling with candida overgrowth, yeast infections, things like that, I just made a video on that, so I'll link it in the box above, whichever corner it's in, if you want to check that out. Okay, so then let's see. So those are kind of the main symptoms and what's going on when you have gut dysbiosis. Sometimes you can get SIBO, which basically means the dysbiosis travels up into your small intestine as well. And another thing, if you've recently taken antibiotics, taken a lot of antibiotics in the past, then you really likely have gut dysbiosis, especially if you're having these symptoms as well. So yeah, that's pretty much how to know if you have it. If you're having any of those symptoms, then you pretty much have gut dysbiosis. So now I'm going to go over what to do to heal it. And these are also great preventative measures. So if you have gut issues and you don't know if you have gut dysbiosis, it never hurts to do these things I'm about to talk about. Basically, if that's the boat you're in, just think of these as things to help keep your microbiome healthy and happy and having plenty of those good microbes and keeping everything all right. One more thing to mention is when you have dysbiosis, these pathogenic microbes also produce their own toxins, so they can basically add an extra burden onto that toxin load in your body. Anyway, so how to heal it. So first, you want to avoid things that I say are like gut microbiome bombs. So this is going to be antibiotics, which I understand there are situations in life where you need to take them, but I would just like try to evaluate this a little bit more clearly. If you just had a surgery where they cut you open and did whatever they needed to do and they're giving you antibiotics, yeah, it's probably a good idea to take them. That's not my field of expertise, so you can consult other people on that. But if you have something that's not really that bad and there's a natural way you can cure it instead, you know, if you have an ear infection, you can try like the onion slice thing. You can look that up if you're interested in that instead and see if it works first. You know, if you have like a yeast infection, then try the natural stuff I mentioned in that video before, because antibiotics are definitely going to make that worse. So just be like mindful, do your own research. If antibiotics are recommended, just try to see if there's an alternate route. If there's not, you know, load up on those fermented foods right after. But just try to be more conscious of avoiding that whenever you can. Also, so like antibacterial soaps, hand sanitizers, like really harsh cleaning products, all of those are microbiome wiping out things. It's not saying it's going to get rid of everything, but it is going to destroy a lot. And that's just going to leave that gap open for the pathogenic microbes to possibly take over. And we really don't want to leave that to chance. We want to just focus on constantly building up those good guys. Of course, the pathogenic ones are always going to be there. We just want to make sure that they are in low enough amounts that they don't cause problems. So let's see, just like too much sanitation overall is not a good idea. Yeah, so don't go too crazy there. And then you also want to manage stress. Stress can throw off your microbiome as well. So of course you want to keep that under control. Just try to decrease excessively stressful things in your life. Try to approach things that are stressful that you can't quite get rid of in different ways. Make sure you're not overscheduling yourself and burning yourself out. Make sure you have enough time to rest, enough time to sleep, and enough time to do relaxing things like reading or getting outside or anything like that that you like, taking a hot bath, whatever it is. Yeah, those are kind of my main quick bullet point notes on managing stress. And then, okay, so then you want to repopulate your microbiome. So basically the main, most effective, best way to do this is fermented foods. So that can be kimchi, that can be sauerkraut, that can be yogurt, that can be kefir. Anything that's fermented like that is going to be really good. Homemade things tend to be better, but you can also buy some good ones at the store. So you can do either way. But yeah, so you want to load up on lots of those. If this is an issue for you right now, you want to get like a good serving of fermented foods in every day if possible. That's going to be ideal. Yeah, I mean, you can take probiotics, but in my opinion, they're kind of expensive and fermented foods are just more effective. It's like the natural probiotics right there. So I opt for probiotic foods like yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut, all those things I just mentioned over probiotics because I just find they're more effective. They're the natural whole thing, and also they're just not as expensive, especially if you're making them on your own. If you really want to take probiotics, you can do that as well, but I would still recommend having fermented foods in your diet too. Another thing to mention is getting outside, getting your hands in the dirt, things like that is really beneficial for your microbiome. You are going to get, especially if it's like a nice area, you know, out there, not next to like a city or something where there's a lot of toxins, but just a very clean dirt, is going to actually be good for you. It's going to expose you to really good beneficial microbes. So that is another way. It might sound weird, but yeah, getting out in the dirt a little bit is really good for your microbiome. And another note that I want to make here is sometimes we are told to eat prebiotics. So this is different than probiotics. This is prebiotics. Probiotics are the microbes like already there. So you're introducing the microbes. So like when I make sauerkraut, all these microbes in the air are coming into my sauerkraut and they're fermenting it and I eat it and I'm getting all these microbes. That is probiotics. Prebiotics are fibers in foods like artichokes and chicory, and there's a whole list of them. You can look it up if you want. These are fibers that feed your microbiome. So they feed the bacteria. Fiber in general does, but prebiotics are just a little more specific, the ones that like really feed your microbes. But the problem is they don't really feed selectively. So if you have dysbiosis, you're kind of just feeding the bad ones at the same time as the good ones. So if you want to experiment with adding more prebiotic fibers, it's best to wait till you've done the other things and you've noticed some changes. Then you're welcome to experiment with that if you want. It's not something I really focus on because I don't find it to be the most important thing in just supporting your microbiome. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that if you're coming across like eat prebiotic fibers and stuff like that and eat fiber, it'll feed your microbiome. Just be aware it will feed those pathogenic ones too, most likely. And then it could worsen your symptoms. So if you down a bunch of fiber, you're probably going to get very bloated and very gassy if you have dysbiosis. Yeah, so that was just something important to note. And oh, one more thing, avoid the pathogenic microbe feeders. So there are some things that will specifically feed the pathogenic ones more. Like I mentioned, sugar, alcohol, and processed foods will feed those pathogenic ones more and basically allow them to overgrow because they're getting lots of nutrients. Or not nutrients, but fuel for them. Yeah, so avoid those kinds of things as well. And honestly, living a healthy lifestyle, supporting your gut, digestive system, all of that will help, but these are the most important things. So make sure you get plenty of probiotics in your food. So eat lots of fermented foods, get outside, don't worry about over sanitizing things, avoid like antibiotics, antibacterial soaps. Yeah, and that's all I got for you today. So hopefully you found that helpful and now you understand your microbiome a little bit more and what can throw things off and what you need to do to make sure it's happy. Yeah, so I hope you found that helpful. And like I mentioned in the beginning, I did want to talk a little bit more about my program. So my program is called Ancestral Gut Healing. This is where I help people to overcome their chronic gut and digestive issues. So things like gut dysbiosis, like I talked about today, bloating, gas, constipation, IBS, autoimmune issues, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, hormonal issues, skin issues, anything that connects back to your gut. I help you to get to the root cause of that, and then I explain how to eat in order to fix this, other holistic things that you can do as well to fix this. And I basically just map out a strategy for you to overcome the specific gut issues you're having, to heal your gut, to seal your gut, to support the microbiome, to strengthen your digestive system, to really nourish your body as well. That is a huge part of healing. And yeah, basically just heal your gut issues. So if that's something you're interested in, I will link a little link below where you can book a call with me. And on that call, we can talk more about your issues specifically, what's causing them, what you need to do to heal. And yeah, if you want to hear more about my program, then I can explain that on the call and you can decide if it's something you want to join or not. So yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you could give it a like, comment something, let me know what you want to hear more about, subscribe, share it with a friend, anything like that. I appreciate a lot. Anyways, I will talk to you soon and bye for now.